Hi, this is Angela Ervin with Paula Harvey, our Vice President of the Cy-Fair Houston Chamber of Commerce, and we are here with Heath Melton. He is the Executive Vice President of the Master Plan Communities of the Howard Hughes Corporation. And we're here today to talk to him about the challenges he's been facing during the COVID-19 pandemic. So how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me today. Very happy to be here and to share any information that we want to talk about as it relates to our organization, the Howard Hughes Corporation. You know, we have our three master plan communities, the Woodlands up north and the Conroe area market. We have the Woodlands Hills that's also located up there. And then we have Bridgeland located here in the Cy-Fair area.
Awesome. So what were the challenges you faced? Tell us about home sales in Bridgeland and what went on when COVID-19 happened and we had the stay-at-home order.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just kind of start with talking about how we started off the year. So we started off in specifically in Bridgeland. So we started off January and February with just phenomenal sales. We were up 90% year over year from the previous year going into March. And obviously that changed as COVID-19 kind of reared its ugly head. And as we went into the second half of March, things dramatically changed and we saw a pretty significant pullback in home sales. And that really carried on through all of April. I'd say, you know, some of the challenges that we had obviously was because of the pandemic and the shutdown and stay home work orders, people just weren't really comfortable getting out there in the market space. But I'd say some of the good things that took place is we're able to pivot very quickly. And when I say pivot, you know, a lot of that is from the consumer experience. We were in a position to where our online assets were very, very kind of advanced that allowed people to do that online shopping from home. And so as we looked at our metrics from March and April versus March and April of last year, from internet web traffic and then just overall engagement on our social and digital aspects, we were up 90%. So what that told us was people were still shopping. They still wanted to, they were still interested in buying homes. They just weren't quite ready yet to get out there until that stay-at-home work order was lifted. Now, from a home building standpoint, you know, our home builders were considered essential. So they're able to maintain operations through that. So they were still building houses. They went to a by appointment only. So they would have either folks in their model homes with the model home locked with a sign on the door, and they'd have to call and go through their protocol. And they'd bring those folks into the model homes and go through the sales process with them. So the home sales that we did see in the second half of March and April were folks that were definitely 100% in the market ready to buy. So that contact to contract time was very short, and those translated into sales. So take that on. Those were probably our biggest challenges, but the good thing is that we were positioned from a virtual experience to really help overcome some of those challenges.
That's really neat. You actually exceeded sales, right, in May after being soft in April and March?
Yeah, so once we got a lot of those changes from the governor and then our local officials, where we allowed people to kind of get back and start that process, shopping, dining, and the home buying process, more importantly to us. So fast forward, you know, after the slowdown in March and April to May. And so in Bridgeland, we experienced the strongest May performance since inception of Bridgeland. We sold 111 net home sales. And so that for May over May, that was up 76% May over May. And now one would have thought that might have just been a kind of a blip on the market, you know, blip on the radar. But actually June has been very, very strong performance as well. As we've gone through June, June of 2020 versus June of 19 was up 26%. So where that puts us year to date, we're actually up 21% year over year from the previous year. So just imagine if we didn't have that slight pause for about 6 weeks in March and April. And so I think, you know, as we talk about what kind of lended itself to that success from a home sale standpoint, there's several different factors. You know, March is kind of the kickoff of our spring selling season, and spring selling season rolls into the summer sales season. So that really takes you all the way through August. So we missed about 6 weeks of our peak sales season in spring, but we've captured that in May. So that's probably one of the factors that really boosted our absorptions in May. So we had that huge performance. And then if you talk to a lot of people in the industry, developers, builders alike, most of them are thinking that, we didn't necessarily lose that spring selling season. It just shifted by 6 weeks. So we're getting that spring selling season that's carrying into the summer, and those two kind of combine together in May, and then we'll see that through the rest of the summer sales cycle. So it's been really good for us. Again, I told you June was up 26% versus June the previous year. Our first week in July, we sold 23 home sales in Bridgeland. And so that again was up 26% versus the first week in July. So it's just great to see that the market is resilient. People are out there, the demand is there. Some other factors that really play into that for us, at least in our opinion, one is interest rates. Interest rates are at an all-time low. Some are at 2.5 or even lower than 2.5. So what that means for home buyers, their buying power has increased, or maybe they're a little bit more comfortable with being able to afford that interest rate or that monthly mortgage payment because the interest rate has come down. We also saw some buyers that might have been, and I'll just use a price point of $400,000 home buyer. And with the interest rates coming down, now they can afford, $450,000, $475,000. So they might have increased the home size and kind of the amenities that they want with those homes. So interest rates has played a pretty big factor in that respect. I'd also couple that with, we always talk about the millennial generation, right? And the millennial generation is starting to change their family dynamics. They're getting married, they're having kids. A lot of them have had that lifestyle of, hey, we want to be renters, we want to live in multifamily. Well, the family dynamics have changed. You throw COVID on top of that, and they're starting to feel those smaller spaces starting to enclose on them. And so they want to spread their wings a little bit. So with the need for more space as they're working from home, the family dynamics changing, and then all-time low interest rates has really got a lot of those folks off the fence and then willing to buy houses. So, it's a lot of great things that are happening for us in the new home sales market that's translated into our strong performance in kind of May, June. As we go into July, we think that's going to carry all the way through the summer sales season.
Wow, that's great, Heath. You are doing so well. It's refreshing to hear that. We've been doing a few videos and hearing a lot of challenges, but you're just bringing it. It's awesome. But of course, Bridgeland is a beautiful master plan community, and we are so fortunate as a chamber to be good partners with you as being on the board of directors and working with Bridgeland since they broke ground many years ago. But thinking of that, I know you have more growth that is coming. There are 20,000 homes planned along the way. I don't know. Where are you at this point in opening another section?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have 4 distinct villages in Bridgeland. So we had Lakeland Village that we started from inception. Lakeland Village is a little over 3,400 home sites. We're currently developed out there. We're almost built out, and we'll be built out by year end. We kicked off Parkland Village that is about 3,500 home sites. And so we're well into that as well. We've already sold over 1,700 homes in Parkland Village, and it's only been open for 2 years. So really great performance for Parkland Village. As we look at kind of our next steps, anybody that's in and around Bridgeland or Grand Parkway, you'll see we started a lot of activity on the west side of the Grand Parkway, and that's our next village. So Prairieland Village is right at the cusp. We'll be delivering lots in Prairieland Village, really the first part of next year. So our new village is right behind coming online. So we're really excited about that. We have some more. We developed our first multifamily, Lakeside Road, the residences here in Bridgeland. It's a little over 300 units. We're already 71% leased and 67% occupied. So we're looking at our next phase of multifamily as well. And so as we looked at our master plan communities and the level of diversity and product offerings, obviously that brings multifamily, also brings commercial and retail. So a lot of interest in our commercial and retail that's along the Grand Parkway. So we're talking to a lot of prospective land buyers or land leasers to help activate that space. I'd say the other thing that's great about our region, and I have to give kind of a nod to our other developers as well. It's not just all about Bridgeland. It's really all about the entire region. We have some great developers like Caldwell Development with Town Lake. We have the Misher Group that's right across the street with Cypress Creek Lakes, and they're almost built out. So all that synergy of these folks that really focus on master plan development and quality development really kind of goes to the old adage that all boats rise together with that tide. So, you know, we couldn't do it alone. We look at it from a very regional perspective, and as long as we're all bought into this quality development, I think it serves the community greater than just a one-off community.
You're right. We are so lucky in Cy-Fair and Cypress to have such beautiful developments. I mean, for a great place to live and play and go to school, and we're so fortunate. Thank you for building a beautiful master plan community. We look forward to telling many more people about it and sending them your way. Thanks again for serving on our board of directors and being with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.